How's it going, everyone? I'm Landan with LMR.com. Welcome to another LMR.com What Is video. This time around, I'm going to be talking about the 2005 to 2009 S197 Mustangs. Let's get right into it. All right, so technically speaking, all 2005 to 2014 Mustangs were codenamed S197, but for this video, I'm going to be talking about the 2005 to 2009 cars, since there was a lot going on during that 10-year model run. Also, for what it's worth, I've always referred to the 05 to 09 cars as the first generation S197s. So the S197s are the fifth generation of Mustang and were built on Ford's D2C platform, which stands for D-Class two-door coupe, and at the time was one of Ford's rear-wheel drive platforms. The first round of concepts began in 2003 when Ford introduced this creation at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit, Michigan on January 5th, 2003. Ford presented two concepts at this show. One was a red metallic Mustang GT convertible, and the other was a tungsten silver Mustang GT coupe. Both of these concepts had design elements that Ford called quote-unquote retro futurism. That had a lot of inspiration from the early 1964 and a half through 1970 Mustangs. Official production for the S197 would begin on September 7, 2004, with the first 2005 model rolling off the Flat Rock assembly line on September 27, 2004. Now let's talk about the exterior. The 05 to 09 Mustang received a complete overhaul from the outgoing New Edge Mustang. The 2005 to 2009 Mustangs featured a nice blend of retro and modern styling cues throughout. Up front, these Mustangs all shared the same style of headlights, which sported gloss black housings and the vertical upright sections, which pay homage to the classic Mustangs. The turn signals were isolated from the headlights and were situated on the outside of the bumper directly underneath the headlights. The 05 to 09 car sported wide grille areas, and the Running Pony logo was proudly presented in the center. The GT models incorporated fog lights in the grille, further bolstering the vintage characteristics. The hood was a simple design in that it had properly positioned body lines and a short front area. Down the side of the car were color-matched rocker moldings on GT models and retro GT badging on the fenders. V6 cars had textured rockers and no badging unless you opted for the pony package that had tri-bar Running Pony emblems on the fenders. The lower body line, which was inspired by vintage cues, ran the length of the car until it transitioned into a subtle side scoop-like recess in the quarter panel. The door glass openings, C-pillars, and sloping back glass strongly resemble the classic fastbacks. The first two things at the rear of the car that grab your attention are the retro-inspired taillights that feature the iconic three-section design and the faux gas cap with a suitable logo. GTs had dual exhaust, while V6 cars had a single tailpipe that exited on the passenger side. Depending on the trim level, a simple low-pro pedestal-style spoiler was an option. Like all Mustangs before it, the 2005 to 2009 cars sported a few different wheel options depending on the trim level. Added as an option in 2009 and in celebration of the 45th anniversary of the Mustang, the glass roof set the tone for muscle car luxury. In Ford's words, the Mustang went from fastback to glassback. Speaking of the 45th anniversary, Ford put some fender badges on the cars, and other than that, they really didn't do anything at all. All right, so like the exterior, the interior underwent the same retro-futurism treatments. These are immediately noticed whenever you sit in the driver's seat and admire the three-spoke steering wheel, retro-inspired dash, barrel light gauges, and AC vent registers. Interior colors consisted of medium parchment, light graphite, and dark charcoal. Cloth or leather seats were available, and the color depended on the options and trim level of the car. Throughout the 2005 to 2009 model years, a few different packages were available that offered unique interior tidbits such as red and chamois leather. First introduced in the 2005 Mustang was Ford's MyColor instrument panel lighting that was driver configurable with your choice of 125 colors. The mid-tier stereo option for 2005 to 2009 Mustangs was the Shaker 500 system. This included a 6-disc CD changer, 8 speakers, 2 door-mounted subs, and cranked out 500 watts of power. A Shaker 1000 audio system was added in 2006 that offered 1000 watts of peak power. This included the same 6-disc CD changer, 10 speakers, 4 subwoofers, 2 door-mounted, and dual 500 watt subs in the trunk. In 2007, Ford added an auxiliary port to the center console so you could jam out to your favorite tunes from an iPod or MP3 player. In 2008, ambient lighting was added that offered 7 different hues that illuminated the footwells and front cup holders. Not that this serves any ties to the interior, but none of the 05 to 09 Mustangs had an in-car trunk button. The only way to open the trunk was by using the key fob or the key itself. Pretty strange. The suspension on the S197 Mustang was entirely different. Up front, a traditional McPherson strut was used versus the modified McPherson suspension on the Fox body SN95 and New Edge Mustangs. The 2005 to 2009 cars still utilize a hydraulic power steering system, but they do have a tighter turning radius than the New Edge Mustang. The S197 Mustang's chassis was approximately 30% stiffer than the previous one used for the New Edge Mustang. With a 6-inch longer wheelbase, weight distribution was better balanced at 52 front, 48 rear. At the rear of the car, a 3-link suspension was used along with a solid axle rear end. Because of the 3-link setup, a panhard rod helped keep the rear end stable. V6 cars still use 7.5-inch differentials, while the V8s received 8.8 units. The rear gear ratio depended on the transmission and trim, although there were only 2 available, 331 and 355. An anti-lock brake system was standard on all 2005 to 2009 Mustangs. V6 cars had 11.5-inch vented front rotors, while GTs received 12.5-inch vented front rotors. Both used dual piston front calipers, 11.8-inch vented rear rotors, and single piston rear calipers. As far as transmissions go for the first-gen S197s, the V6 cars with a manual still rock the tried and true T5. The manual GTs received a slightly revised TR3650 that now utilized a remote mount shifter. The automatic transmission that was used for both V6 and V8 engine applications was Ford's 5R55S unit. This was a 5-speed transmission with overdrive. A TPMS system was added in 2007 to monitor tire pressure and alert the driver of a low tire by displaying an appropriate indicator on the instrument cluster. As far as engine options go for the 2005 to 2000 Mustangs, there were a total of 3, a 4-liter V6, a 4.6-liter 3-valve V8, and a GT500 exclusive supercharged double overhead cam 5.4-liter V8. The 4-liter V6 still used pushrod architecture and was rated at 210 horsepower and 240 pound-feet of torque at the flywheel. The 4.6-liter V8 was reworked and would feature 3-valve heads, variable camshaft timing, an intake manifold with charge motion runner controls, and a drive-by-wire throttle body. These changes helped the new 4.6-liter V8 pump out 300 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque at the flywheel on 87-octane fuel. There weren't many changes to this engine during the 2005 to 2009 model year run. A different cooling system arrangement was introduced in 2008, and the cylinder head was recast to accept a different spark plug, since the 05 to early 2008 cars were known to have problems with spark plugs not wanting to come out in a clean manner. According to the TSB, 4.6-liter 3-valve engines built before November 30th of 2007 fell victim to the spark plug trouble. To kick off the specialty models, let's first talk about the return of the Shelby GT500. Ford's SVT division released the 2007 GT500 as the successor to the 03-04 Cobra. Now I remember this vividly, as I went to see the movie I Am Legend in theaters after a high school basketball game. The opening scene in the movie was Will Smith and his dog racing through apocalyptic New York City in a red GT500 with white stripes. The film crew made sure to pump in as much exhaust roar and supercharger whine as they could. As a car guy, that was my favorite part of the movie. The Shelby GT500 packed a powerful punch. Under the hood was a 5.4-liter supercharged double overhead cam V8 engine that let loose 500 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque at the flywheel. This was accomplished with a Roush-type supercharger, making 9 pounds of boost. The new Shelby GT500 would be offered in the first-gen S197 body style from 2007 to 2009 and was available in both coupe and convertible body styles. Along with its supercharged V8, the 07-09 GT500 had several specifics: front bumper, headlights, fog lights, wheels, spoiler, and appropriate exterior badging immediately made this car stand out from the rest of the Mustang pack. To stop this beast, Ford upgraded the front brakes to 14-inch vented rotors and 4-piston Brembo calipers. The rear brakes remained the same as the GTs. In 2008, Ford released the GT500 KR, which stood for King of the Road. 2008 marked the 40th anniversary of the original GT500 KR. This car carried a heavy price tag of $79,995, but it was the most powerful Mustang at the time. 1,000 units were produced in 2008, and an additional 712 were made in 2009, and they were exactly like the 2008 models. The GT500 KR supercharged 5.4-liter V8 slammed down 540 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. A few exclusivities included 18-inch forged Alcoa wheels, carbon fiber front splitter, carbon fiber hood with functional scoop that resembled the hood from the 1968 King of the Road, Ford Racing strut tower brace, Ford Racing springs, and Tokiko dampers. Along with the return of the Shelby GT500, Ford paid another classic tribute by releasing the California Special package. This identifier was easily notated by GTCS, and inspiration came from the 1968 California Special Mustang GT. This package was only available on the 2007 to 2009 Mustang GTs in premium trim. This car had the right amount of uniqueness to it, including a GTCS specific front bumper and chin spoiler, side scoops, mid-body side stripes with GTCS font, 18-inch polished aluminum 5-spoke wheels, GTCS specific rear bumper with a molded-in racing-inspired diffuser, pedestal-style spoiler, and polished rolled exhaust tips. The interior consisted of dark charcoal leather trim seats that were appropriately contrasted with dove or parchment leather inserts. Shortly after the release of the all-new 2005 Mustang, talk of reintroducing a Bullitt edition was rampant among enthusiasts, and it all made sense given the retro vibes Ford achieved with the 05 to 09 body style. Well, in 2008, a Bullitt edition Mustang made its way onto the scene as a 2008 model year. Sticking true to the Bullitt roots, Ford stripped the 08 Bullitt of badging, scoops, and spoilers, but left the faux gas cap on the deck lid with Bullitt insignia. A unique grille and specially crafted 18-inch wheels finished the exterior treatments, while Bullitt-specific interior trim with Bullitt badging and an aluminum shift knob completed the Bullitt transformation. Each 2008 Bullitt was assigned its own VIN-specific serial number on a special identification plate affixed to the car's strut tower brace. The engineers tapped into the Ford Racing catalog for a host of upgrades to help make the Bullitt Mustang more than just an appearance package. These upgrades included a Ford Racing power upgrade package that included an open element cold air intake and custom PCM calibration that bumped the flywheel rating to 315 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque. Suspension improvements included stiffer shocks, springs, and a strut tower brace. The 08 Bullitt received unique front brake pads for additional bite and 373 rear gears. This car was available in either black or dark Highland green, which was specific to the Bullitt. Ford built a total of 5,808 Bullitts in 2008, with 4,377 of those being painted dark Highland green, while the other 1,431 cars were black. Since the demand was so extreme for the 2008 Bullitt, Ford added another year of production in 2009. Although, contrary to the claim, Ford only sold 816 2009 Bullitts, 635 dark Highland green units, and only 181 were finished in black. Just like in years past, third-party performance gurus took the Mustang and added their own spin to it. Steve Saleen, Jack Roush, and Shelby all played a part in offering different packages for the first-generation S197 Mustang. During the 05 to 09 era, Ford offered their first factory-built road race car in the company's history, which was the FR500S Mustang. Now, what made this car pretty unique was that Ford built the FR500S at the Flat Rock Assembly Plant. This car had all the accompanying parts and pieces to make it track ready. We also saw the return of the Cobra Jet in 2008. This was a factory-prep drag car that featured a supercharged 5.4-liter V8 and weighed just 3,300 pounds. The release of the Cobra Jet in 2008 coincided with the 40th anniversary of the original Cobra Jet debut in 1968. All right, people, in closing, Ford would sell 620,005 Mustangs during 2005 to 2009. That's a pretty damn good number considering the return of the Dodge Charger in 2006, Dodge Challenger in 2008, and the Camaro in 2010, although it was rumored as early as 2006. Like other Mustangs before it, the 05-09 cars had their fair share of quirks. A few of those that stand out are the early spark plug issues, the laminating door material, and the chipping radio buttons. All things aside, the car's retrofied beauty makes it the closest to the classic Mustang than any other Mustang. From a personal standpoint, my stepmom bought a 2006 GT brand new and owned the car until 2013. Having grown up in the era of muscle cars, she liked the car because of its classic roots. That's why she bought it. I remember driving the car around thinking I was the coolest dude on the block. Well, little did I know, I was just like every other mindless teenager in their parents' car. Okay, folks, that's all we have for you today. As always, we hope you enjoyed this What Is video. If you did, go ahead and like it, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. Until we catch you in the next one, y'all know what to do for all things S197 Mustang. Keep it right here with the real enthusiasts, LMR.com.